We got options. It's going to be creative. So my plan is to put it back here.
I also own a farm.
Here we go. You're now watching the 2024 season of Farming with Duffy Ag. Welcome back to the channel. So let's do a little talking. This is just going to be a video explaining what's in my mind because there was a lot of comments, questions, concerns, all sorts of things. So we've been mowing corn stalks, wrapped up at other farms. Is this tire flat? No, it's just sitting in the hole. That would have been bad. So we have this bin. This is the floor of it. We have the panels of it. And at the end of the day, my plan was to put that up by ourselves. And I'll walk out. We're gonna do some talking because there is a lot of comments that are really good. There's some that are a little interesting. But so this was a 3,500 bushel bin. If we add some rings to it, probably make it into about a 5. And I was like, okay, so 5,000 bushels gives me some flexibility. We could load it, then unload it as we need it. We did have a dryer. So we still got to go pick that one dryer up. And that was my goal. That's why we bought the auger. And that's why a lot of this went around. So this auction that came up that we bought the bin site at previously, a gentleman actually put me onto it. And it's public knowledge. Somebody's pointed out, nobody's actually said in the comments, I spent $7,600 on that bin site. We got to tear it down. So when I bought it, it was... and we got till February 15th to tear down. So after I bought it, I've talked to 4 different crews. A&M Martin is one of them. They said, find somebody down there. They said, we'll help you put it up. We'll give you some ideas. We'll work with you. I said, okay. So when I bought it, the bins were, the 2 big ones are 36 by 24 on the sides. That makes it, on paper, like a 24,000 bushel bin. They had it written at 14, so we were wondering if the center of the roof was 25 because that changes it changes the size. But so we got 2, we'll say 24,000 bushel bins. Neither of them are amazing, but they got some potential. And honestly, between those 2 bins, that was everything I harvested this year for storage. Granted, I like shipping some, getting paid right away, so you got some cash. But if I can store my corn, we would have been done so much sooner because we could just run when it was really good weather. How it was this year, I'd fill up trucks and we would be done, and then I'd have nowhere to go with it. So 2 bins like that. The other bin is like a 6,000. I don't think I actually measured. I don't think I ever actually looked on the paper how it calculates out. I'll do that and I'll put the number right here. It is X amount of bushels based on the measurements we did. So we got that. And then the wet bin needs some love. That's supposed to be a 3,400 bushel bin. So we paid $7,600 for that stuff. The leg, that other dryer that needs some hub, propane tanks, stuff like that. All said and done, even if we just went off storage, it's like 12 cents a bushel we're at. Granted, we got to take it down. I've got prices from everything from $57,000 for full dismantle. And I'm like, I need the bins down and the leg down. I said, I can load stuff. That some of the people didn't understand how blessed I am with the people around me that will help me do stuff like that. So I said, I need the legs down. I need the big bins down. We probably can take the small bin down because we got to get a telehandler anyways down there. But that quote was like, crane for 3 days, skid steer for a week, telehandler for a week. I'm like, whoa. I said, I'll bring that stuff. So we have the landau, we have my gooseneck. I got some other people that are interested in helping me, which I'm excited about. We got to load everything up, get it home. I do not see us reassembling it the same exact way at all. Somebody did point out, bring all of the augers, everything home, and then evaluate them. Don't scrap them. Point taken. I appreciate that. I threw the number out there of $5 a bushel for new bins. Somebody said they're like $3.50, so I don't even have my calculator anyways. But all said and done, between the wet, the bigs, you got 60,000 bushels at 3. Even if it's at 3, what does that work out? $240,000 in grain storage would be the new price for everything loaded. We're not going to be anywhere near that at the end of the day. We're not going to piece it all back together right away, I don't think. I don't think that's in the budget. But the leg itself, so what's a leg worth? I've seen everything from, for new legs, $1,000 to $1,500 a foot. That leg's 100 foot. Do the math on that. So somebody said it's inefficient for my size to have a leg. Well, we're planning on growing. This is our 2nd year, and I'm 33 years old. I hope I got 20, 30 more years of farming in me. Who knows? Who knows with my health side of it? But having a leg gives me options. If we load the wet bin with trucks and then run all night, somebody did point out you need to do something different in between, because you can't be loading wet corn and having dry corn come out at the same time. Correct. That is why they have that small bin. It comes out of the dryer, holds it, and then you could dump it back into the leg to go up to storage. So I don't know what our official plan is to reassemble it. We haven't made it that far. I'd like to sit down with Ann Martin, and Isaiah's got some plans. Somebody said over in front of the house, Isaiah did say that. He said that would be awesome, drop it right off the side, and that is very wet. A lot of people have mentioned power. So my power comes right to there. Even if I was going to put it up by the road, I'm about the same distance back to right here. And my plan for right here is I could expand. Yes, there's an elevation change. We're going to have to do some work, figure some things out. But at the end of the day, this is never going to be corn, for one. It's just an odd shape, so it's going to be hay forever. We do have a well out back, so we do have water line that runs somewhere and power line that runs somewhere, not big power. The other thing is, and Tom, which is Farming Some Bitch on Instagram, and The Way We Farm on YouTube, he put up his site and he put a top dry in, and they couldn't get the power. It was ridiculously priced or whatnot. He bought a 3-phase generator for dirt cheap. When he needs power, he's got it. So that's also on my radar, because I think he got his from a hospital or something like that. They sell them for dirt cheap. And then you have a very good source of power. So there's a lot of planning to go in between, but for the price of where we're going to be at, and the other crews to take it down, somebody quoted me 30 grand to take everything down and load it on trucks, and I said that's not where I want to be either, because I can load it on trucks. I need somebody with bin jacks. So there is a gentleman I talked to. He's got a crew of 3, and I appreciate all my friends that are in that area that have moved bins or whatnot. They gave me a bunch of numbers. He's got a crew of 3 guys. He's got bin jacks. He doesn't have a crane, but he has a guy that can bring a crane in. He gave me prices, and he said, if you have help to do all the odds balls, take this piece off, do this, load, stack, he said that it's not going to be that much. So we might have him for a week. But I'm planning to go down and actually take things apart with a few of my buddies and whatnot, and get as far as we can go. You got to take the downspouts off, but you can rent a telehandler that reaches 60 foot in the air nowadays. You can rent a Manitou or whatnot that goes to 106. It gets expensive, but we got options. It's going to be creative. So my plan is to put it back here. I have a permit with the town already for putting a grain bin back here. That was my plan. Technically, we're ag. We don't need to have permits, but I wanted to do it right so that we had no issues with neighbors or anything moving forward. And my plan was not to build a bin site this soon, but honestly, if I had a bin site this year, we would have been done probably 3 weeks earlier, because we dragged on, then we got snowed on, this, that, blah, blah. I could run 24 hours a day and just load corn there and then haul it out later. Make a big difference. Plus drying corn. Yes, I lost some money this year. I didn't earn as much money as I could have if I shipped dry corn. And yes, it's a cost drying, but drying your own corn is a much better thing. Plus the price of corn went up. Towards the end, my last few loads that I shipped to the mill, it was $5 a ton more. So if you're shipping 25 ton, what is that, 100 and something bucks? Yeah. $125 more a load, which adds up. You start doing the math of how many loads we shipped and everything else like that. So that is part of why we have the bin site and what I'm planning on that. People did say leave the leg above ground, don't build a pit, do stuff like that. The more I think about it, the more you guys are right on that. Everybody I see moving forward, they don't put their leg in the ground because it fills with water. It's another hassle. I don't know how many bushels an hour that leg is. That leg's much newer than everything else. The buckets looked good. Yeah, there's a lot to that, but it goes back to what we paid for it. If it comes down to it and we're not going to make that work, anybody want to buy a leg for 10 grand? Somebody will jump on it, but I'm going to use it. That is my plan, 100%, because I want to keep moving forward and I want to make it more efficient for myself. Yeah. And we're going to farm more ground. That is the end of the day. That's the goal. Want to buy more ground, want to farm more ground, and just be more efficient at what we do. And the bin site's going to be a big part of it. So if we put up the leg, if we don't even put the leg up, we put one bin up this year, and we use the auger and we load it, we put the dryer in somehow and we auger through it or whatnot, it's going to be drastically night and day difference for next year. Granted, we're going to grow a bunch of soybeans, and you guys will see something about that in the next video. But at the end of the day, they need storage too, so that we can hammer them out. And then having the ability to pull out of the grain and grind it and feed it to animals, it just gives us options. So if anybody has any more input that's actually useful, other than the ones of like, I'm going to go bankrupt doing this, that, blah, blah, blah. I appreciate that so many people get worried about my financials. I'm not worried about them at all. I'm being sarcastic. It's stressful. All of this is stressful, but I'm young. Better do it now, because when I'm 45, 50 years old, I'm not going to have the motivation. I'm not going to have the energy to take on big projects. So yeah, I'm excited for that. So that is the plan. We're putting it out back here. Anywhere else on the farm other than across doesn't make any sense. We could put it up here. That doesn't really make any sense. This has quite a bit more elevation change, and honestly, at the end of the day, this will probably be where a shop and cold storage goes. It just makes the efficiency of it. So I'm thinking ahead. You got to have big dreams. Without big dreams and biting off too much, we would not be where we are at today. So I don't know what the future holds for me at all, ever. That's part of farming, but you have to keep moving forward, and every farmer knows that. So this is where the bin site is planned to go. If somebody has real issues, expectations or whatnot, concerns, write it in the comments. We will talk about it more and more. Somebody said you can't be in a floodplain, stuff like that. We are not in the floodplain. If the water comes up 10 foot, we got bigger issues than that. So we did all our paperwork on this and how it's going to go forward. And I think that gives us a big enough area to drive in, turn around. Yes, we got to fix the roadways in and out. Granted, we would plow them and have them a lot better. They do have to get a little wider. They got to get some stone. We're pretty good at moving some dirt for ourselves. So yeah, thinking about it. Plus, I'm kind of thinking it gets pretty windy here, and having that hillside that drops off and the trees, that blocks a lot of wind right in this area. Out here, when it starts getting windy, it gets pretty aggressive. So, but update on the bin site, because there was a ton of comments. I've had a bunch of people reach out to me. Anybody I've shared 100% of the details, the plans, has been pretty on board. As far as professionals in the industry and what I plan on doing and how I'm doing it. Somebody did say FSA has great low interest rates for storage. That's great. I'm trying to get away from making a payment every year on stuff. Currently, we have the farm loan payment, which we just paid, and I got an equipment payment for 6 more years. 5 more years? I don't even know. Either way, at the end of the day, yes, we're going to bite off more, but interest rates is ridiculous. So FSA is very good. It's hard, it takes a little bit, and the people that I got the farm through and helped me and helped me navigate and everything else, they're no longer working for FSA, and I appreciate everything they did because they taught me a lot of stuff. But alrighty, as I'm talking, I'm thinking for myself. So if somebody has realistic stuff, people said raise the bins off the ground. I agree, we'll put them up above. Somebody said put side poles out of it, so because the leg is slow. That's true. I know a lot of people that load out of their leg into their grain buggy to load trucks, so that they can just run it for a while before a truck shows up or whatnot. Honestly, at the end of the day, we got to get a nice trailer someday for the Kenworth to move our own grain around. Since, as people point out, we are in the trucking world a lot. But trucks keep everything moving, so we will be going back manure hauling for a bunch of the winter so that we have money to build a bin site more. It's weird how this all works out together. We don't have equity and we don't have large lump sums of cash, so at the end of the day you got to think outside the box and have a lot of pieces of the puzzle. Alrighty, it is supposed to be 45 to 50 degrees for the rest of the week, and we're gonna make it happen. Can't believe I parked this. That was a hell of a parking job. So I appreciate you guys. Little rundown on what's gonna happen, what the plan is for the bins right now. Orange juice. And tomorrow we got to clean off stuff and it will be good. So hopefully next year, before harvest, middle of summer, we will be erecting a site out there to make our lives easier long term. So, and I don't want to build it to not have space for the future, so that's kind of, it'll be adequate at where we're at, but it's not like we're building a bin site for 3 times of what we're doing right now. Something to think about. Alrighty, did a lot of rambling. I appreciate any constructive advice, and we'll go from there because you guys are awesome. But appreciate you guys, and we'll talk on the next one. Have a good one.